Hello. Oh, I gotta admit, because Dell doesn't want me to talk. Shuts me off like that. I just took a sip of water and everything. Don't matter. You know, just because it doesn't work doesn't mean he quits. you know, that doesn't compute. And I'm gonna make like probably two. I don't know if three, but maybe two videos right now. And I'd like to post them and stuff. And I just like to. I watch videos and they give me ideas, and I'm not plagiarizing them. I twist them and I look at it in my perspective instead of theirs. And it's not much different than theirs. It might be exactly the same on occasion. And I think that's flattery, not thievery. But we all hate our horrible childhoods if we had one. And sometimes a horrible childhood is actually the best childhood. And you look at somebody who had the best childhood on the outside looking in, and they had the worst childhood, and they're the worst people. You don't want them in charge of other people or animals or anything else. They're really pathetic. And like a Don Jr., I think I used Eric's no better, but and they had a perfect life from the outside looking in. I don't think they had a perfect life because they had Donald Trump as a father, so I don't think that's even possible. They had zero love. It was like, oh, you want something? Here's a couple bucks. Go get it. That was as far as the love went. But and if you want to go to school, go to any school you want. But we don't really care what grades you get because it don't matter. So I had a horrible life, and I think I've spoken about it on a lot of these tapes. I was beaten in the crib by my father. I was beaten by my stepfather. And I don't regret any of it. I am so thankful for it. It has made me the person I am today, and has shaped my feelings towards the world, and it makes me stand up to the mom because I stand up to my. I was a little kid, and I used to tell my stepfather, and he was huge. His hand was bigger than my head at the time. And I'd be like, "Come on, bring it on, bitch!" Like, is that all you got? That was my attitude. And he hated it because he just couldn't bring it anymore, and so I guess that's where I get my guts, my balls, and that's why I'm a stallion and not a gelding, because they never gelded me when I was young, and so somebody like a Don Jr. was probably not beaten as a child, but had a bodyguard, and probably beat up a lot of other people with his bodyguard, like the movie Bodyguard, and had false balls, because nobody was going to punch him, nobody was going to touch him, I got beat up by crowds. I had so many people beat me up when I was not even young. I don't know, was it less than 5 years ago, I had 6 people beat me up in an AA room, and the cops arrested me. I was like, what? They didn't arrest me, they took me to the hospital, but they didn't do anything to the ones that beat me up. They didn't do anything to them. And they banned me from the meeting, and they're the ones who started beating me up in the meeting hall, in the meeting room. So, I have an effect on people. I irritate your demons. That's what I do. I irritate your demons, and your demons come out in the worst possible way because you have no control of them. The demons control you. And when I irritate your demons get you swinging, and you have no choice but to swing. And you might not even know why you're swinging, but you're swinging. And you're not necessarily going to win. I mean, they won because they had 6 against me, whatever. They didn't really win. Anyway, the one guy that really beat me up the most hung himself 2 months later. Had a wife and 2 kids, and he hung himself. And he was in his 50s. He wasn't a young guy, and I liked him. His name was Chris. I liked him until he beat me up. But guy got him back. You don't fuck with me, man. You don't fuck with me. Might take a little while. Maybe you'll think you got away with it. But when he was swinging by the rope, he realized he didn't get away with nothing. So that's how it works. And like if you kill me, you might think you got away with it. But in 2 weeks when the news comes on and says, we have an asteroid the size of Texas coming towards Earth, and there's no way to stop it, kiss your ass goodbye. And then, we didn't get away with it. We didn't get away with it. So, there was that. You have to think about that. And that is definitely your future if anything happens to me. The asteroid has already been picked out, so it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of nudging it in the right direction, and you're done. There's no Armageddon, there's no Bruce Willis to save you. So, well, that's it. Sayonara. You got them gots. You're done. So, and like I was saying, where I started this was a horrible childhood, and having nobody I had nobody to love me. Nobody loved me, and that helped me learn to love myself, and that's how I can sit here all calm and not care. I don't have a girlfriend bouncing off my waist, and I don't need that to be happy. I'm single now 25 years. I haven't been with a girl in 25 years. And, when you get to that point, as for a girl to get with me, they really have to be convincing. You want to give up your winning streak, and I don't know. I worked hard for this winning streak. I don't know that I want to give it up. But, get used to being alone, and it's like, if you try to starve yourself. I went 2 weeks without eating food, and God did that to me. I don't know why. He said, don't eat food anymore. I said, okay. I drank water, but I didn't eat any food, and after a while, your hunger pains go away. You're not hungry anymore. And the ironic part is it gets hard to eat. It gets hard to eat. It's like, I don't know, that turns my stomach. I can't think of eating that. It's like you try to think, because when you're not eating for 2 weeks, you think about food. I didn't think about it every minute, but I thought about food. I'm like, oh no, that doesn't sound too good. And it's like showers, You don't take showers for a while. It gets hard to take them. That water hurts. It's like, what? They could be getting ready to put you in front of a fire hose, and your ass would be like, I don't want to take a shower. I don't feel good. It doesn't sound appealing, But if you take a shower every day, then it's easy, You just jump in, you get out, you jump in, jump out, and all that. But when you wait, it's like, I'll take one Thursday. Thursday comes, it's like, I'll take one tomorrow, Friday. Friday comes, yeah. And you start smelling your armpits. I don't smell nothing. It's like, whatever. And for me, I live alone, so who am I impressing, So, but as you can see, I don't brush my teeth too often. That was a habit my parents never taught me. They didn't give a shit. They were rat's ass. They were rat's ass about anything I did. What you see here is the result of being left home and unsupervised. I don't know. I just don't think, I always say, the world is a paradox, And if you had a bad childhood, you'll be a great adult. And most of the great adults, if you meet a really, really nice guy or a really, really nice woman, there's one thing I can tell you can count on. They had a really hard life. They had a really hard life. They went through the ringer, And a lot of the business owners, the owners of businesses, they're very nice people. They're very, very nice people because they've been through hell with their business. They went through hell establishing their business. They've been through hell because this might most likely their first business. They went bankrupt 7 times before you see them standing before you with their business behind them. That's their 7th business, and they had a partner that raped them, and then, they've been through the ringer, and they're very nice people, and they wouldn't steal from you in any way, shape, or form, and it's a lot of the beginners that are the horrible business owners, the ones that have their first business, and they want to squeeze every dollar out of you, every penny, and they don't give no breaks, and they wonder why they go out of business and why they find out that's not the way to run a business, But everybody has to learn in their own pace, their own time. I can tell you till you're blue in your face, don't do something, and you're going to do it anyway. So I probably don't tell you. I give you philosophy. I practice philosophy. When you die and if you get to meet God, not me, but the other one, Zeus is the God, and the other two, the guys that are running this planet, that's just frickin' frack. Frickin' frack are running this country, but this world, but Zeus is the real God. And if you ever got to meet Zeus and you ask him, what's the most important word in the dictionary? Let me tell you, philosophy. You can't have a pair of shoes without philosophy. You can't have a book. You can't have any math problems. You can't have food without philosophy. Philosophy is at the root of the nuclear bomb. Philosophy. Before there was a nuclear bomb, there was a philosophy, then there was a blueprint, and there was a prototype, and then there was Hiroshima, or Nagasaki, or both. Hopefully no more. But, see what I'm saying? The root, the seed of everything on this planet is philosophy. Once you learn that, you can master the seed.